One day away from opening day, and we are moving on our list of the top 10 prospects for the Atlanta Braves in 2025. This is the second team we've done on our list for this season, and we're going to get it started with my favorite team. I do have some good news to share with you guys. We are going to actually get some coverage of the Atlanta Braves this season, a little more than normal, because I purchased season tickets for the Columbus Clingstones in their first season in Columbus, Georgia, which is going to be the new AA team for the Atlanta Braves. And so I will have tickets and I will attend some of those games and we'll be able to take some videos, maybe see some of the players, see what's going on with the Atlanta Braves. So I'm excited to have that to share with you guys. And I'm excited to move on to this list. We're going to start right now. Okay, we can't talk about the Braves without at least mentioning the elephants in the room, or more appropriately, the Cavs in the room. The two 16-year-old phenoms the Braves recently signed during the international signing period, Diego Torrens and Rowdy Reyes. You should probably lump Angel Carmona in there too, but we'll keep the focus on the youngins here for the moment. The recent talks of the town, if you will. Diego Torrens is a 6'2", 178-pound switch hitter, although he is better from the left side of the dish, and comes hardwired with some solid power. There are concerns over him being a one-dimensional power guy, but the Braves love his work ethic and think he has a lot of room to grow, both mentally and physically. The Braves are hoping for him to man center field for them in a few years and for many more years to come. Rowdy Reyes is a big specimen for a 16-year-old hurler. He stands 6'2" and weighs 205 pounds, although some reports have him at 6'4", 220. The term most used to describe him is unicorn. At 16 years old, he's hitting the radar gun at 102 miles per hour, as I'm sure some of you have seen. With room to grow and with high expectations, there are still concerns with his young arm being able to handle that much torque. He has a slider, which is really more of a cutter, and dabbles with a changeup, but both need serious work. But when you're hitting triple digits regularly, do you really need anything else? Angel Carmona was probably originally the biggest projected name out of these international signings for the Braves. With his size, power potential, and defense up the middle, which is a weak spot for the Braves, but these young ones have seemed to pass him in media attention so far this winter/spring, although probably not quite yet in talent. But enough of talking about those baby Braves. They'll be on the list a couple years down the road, hopefully sooner rather than later, but we'll save that for a little while. On to our list. Number 10 is going to be Luis Guanipa. He's in single A. He's an outfielder. He's 5'11", 188 pounds, and he's 19 years old. Last year in the minors, he hit .219 with 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and 196 at-bats. 2023 saw Guanipa showing off a nice combination of speed and power. The international signee received a $2.5 million signing bonus, so the Braves have high hopes for the highly pursued center fielder. The Braves have had a few misses over the past few years with high-priced international talent, like Sean Michel, Jean Guerrero, and Izzy Wilson, but have had monsters as well, most notably Ronald Acuna Jr. The Braves are hoping Guanipa is more like the latter and finds success in the Braves outfield for years to come. He's not too big by any stretch of the imagination, but he has plenty of room to grow with a few weight room sessions and shows signs of raw power. As I said before, in 2023, he showed off his speed, stealing 20 bases in 46 games, and a little bit of that power, hitting 4 home runs. 2024 saw him fall off a little with a move up in competition, but he still stole 10 bases and hit 2 home runs in 52 ball games between rookie ball and low A. With Harris signed through 2030 and with 2 team options after that, I don't look for Guanipa to make a splash for a while with the Bravos. But developing him may make a huge trade piece in the future, or may make Harris more expendable in a few years. Number 9 on this list is somebody that I hope to get to see in person pitch in Columbus this year. He is a starting pitcher. He's 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, and he's 26 years old. That is J.J. Negro. He was 1-4 last season with a 4.02 ERA, a 1.29 whip, had 36 strikeouts and 40 and a third innings pitched. When I did this Braves prospect list in 2022, I had Negro at number 4. And since he's the only player from that list to make this year's list, you can see how I always say, I don't really know what I'm talking about. In my defense, a few of the players from the 2022 list have actually had their shots at the bigs, or have been moved as bigger trade pieces for other players, i.e. Vaughn Grissom for Chris Sale. So it's not that I'm always wrong. It's that my lists change a lot, because rosters change a lot. Other situations are like Negro's. He spent most of 2024 on the injured list and only threw 40 innings. He also had Tommy John surgery in 2020, in case you didn't want to go back and watch my other list. which I don't blame you, but I'm going to go ahead and post this somewhere so you can watch it if you want to watch that 2021. But yes, Negro is from that Negro family. He's the son of Joe Negro, and no, he still does not throw a knuckleball in games. Although, as he did back then, I'm sure he probably still dabbles with it. He is a low to mid 90s fastball pitcher with a few other decent secondary pitches. He had been in a starter's role for the Braves, but they had been testing him out a little more in the bullpen in 2023, only to move him back to the starter spot for 8 games in 2024. So it's safe to say both Negro and the Braves are still searching for the right fit for him. He has the name, which is partly why he's on this list. That, and I wanted to at least have one player on this list from the 2022 list. Hopefully, though, he can find his stuff again this season or develop a wicked knuckler this year. Maybe. Hopefully. Number 8 on this list is EJ Exposito. He is a shortstop. He is 5'11", 190 pounds, and he is 23 years old. Last season, he hit .238 with 13 home runs, 50 RBIs, and 31 stolen bases and 424 at-bats. Shortstop is one of the few positions lacking in the Braves lineup, at least when healthy. So as far as prospects depth goes, the Braves have added a few shortstops in their minors to try to bolster that weak spot on the big team's roster for the future. Exposito has a solid mix of power and speed, hitting 13 home runs and stealing 31 bases last season, while adding 38 points to his batting average from 2023. He stole 23 bases and 8 homers in 2023 at single A. His walks declined and brought down his on-base percentage down to .311 from .323, but he also cut down on his strikeouts in 2024. He's at high A Rome and looks to build on his 2024 season, but his advancement may be hindered by a player further up on this list, and it may keep him stuck in the minors for a little while longer. Number 7 is Cade Kohler. He's in high A. He's a starting pitcher. He's 6 foot tall, 215 pounds, and he's 22 years old. Last season, he was 3-6 with a 3.74 ERA, a 1.38 whip, 48 strikeouts, and 53 innings pitched. Cade is one of the few pitchers that I've come across. That didn't sound right. Cade is one of the few pitchers I've heard of that throws 7 pitches semi-regularly. He features a mid-90s four-seamer, sometimes touching 98, a 2-seam fastball, a slider, a cutter, which in reality are kind of similar pitches, a curveball, a changeup, and a splitter. I think that's 7, right? He does have a tendency to get hit a lot, being a jack of all trades, if you will, but being a master of none. He has a deceptive delivery at times, but has trouble consistently recreating pitches and locations. Pitching from the stretch has seemed to help that a little bit, but another season with Rome should produce better results for him, as the one game he had with them last year was a little bit rough, giving up 8 runs in 3 innings. I mean, it can't really get any worse in Rome than that, right? Insert Julius Caesar joke here. But I expect Kohler to handle Rome much better this season versus last. Et tu? Number 6 is John Carlos Lara. You guys know I'm terrible with names. He's in Double A, which means we'll may see him in Columbus. He's a starting pitcher. He's 6'3", 190 pounds, and he's 22 years old. Last season, he was 2-4 with a 3.92 ERA, a 157 whip, 94 strikeouts, and only 82 2/3 innings pitched. The Braves, not having much money for international signings in 2020, 2021, after the sanctions, which we won't talk about, were bargain hunting and may have found a gem in Jean Carlos. He touches 100 on the radar gun and has an admirable slider to go along with it. But unfortunately, as of right now, not much else. Though he is working on tweaking his slider a little bit into kind of like a secondary change slider if needed to add to that power slider he already throws. The Braves have been using him as a starter. But personally, I think with his arsenal, as it currently stands at least, he may be better suited for the bullpen, unless he does develop a third pitch, whether it be that changeup slider or something else. His walks were up in 2024 and his strikeouts were down, which is never a good sign. But he maintained the exact same record, 1-2, at both Rome and Mississippi, and the exact same ERA, 3.92, which is kind of cool. So he seemed to handle the move up in talent fairly well. If he can find the plate a little more in 2025, get a few more swing and misses, and maybe work on developing a reliable third pitch, he may be able to stay in the rotation. But if he just relies on his impressive gas and his solid slider, you may see him in the Braves bullpen sooner rather than later. Number 5 is good old Drew Hackenberg. He's in AAA. He's a starting pitcher. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, and he's 22 years old. Last season, he was 7-5 with a 3.07 ERA, a 1.25 whip, 144 strikeouts, and 129 innings pitched. I know. Seems pretty pitcher heavy, and you ain't wrong. The Braves have always prided themselves on pitching, ever since the big three. Really four, if you count Steve Avery, which I do, and have either signed or developed some top-notch pitchers over the years. So it really isn't a surprise to see pitchers dominating this list. As they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right, that was terrible. Anyway, it's scary looking over this list that hitters are few and far between. But here we are. Luckily, a lot of the hitting talent in the organization is already up with the big team. But back to Hackenberg. Before he gets mad at us, because he is a big man, standing 6'2" and 220 pounds on a fasting day. The Hackenbergs have pumped out some athletic talent for sure, with Drew being with the Braves organization, Adam being with the Chi Sox, Christian being drafted by the Jets a few years ago. I still have some of his rookie cards somewhere if anybody wants them. And Brandon being drafted by the MLS. You can say his parents definitely have the golden touch. Drew's mid-90s fastball has some heavy sink to it, and he has a solid slider. He also throws a cutter and a changeup if he needs to get out of a jam, although the fastball and the sinker really do the heavy lifting. Last season, Hackenberg struck out 16 against Pensacola in only 7 innings, showing even more than the Braves had expected when they took him in the second round. He's shaping up to be a real innings eater for the Braves in the future. If that doesn't work out for him, perhaps the Hackenberg parents have some more talent stored away in their family tree. On to the recent talk of the town, and that's going to be our number 4 player. And we can have a little debate if you guys would like on whether you think he should be higher up on this list. And as of right now, maybe so. But throughout the season, we'll see. But that's going to be Drake Baldwin. He is now up with the big boys. He's going to break camp with the Braves. He is a catcher, obviously, 5'10", 210 pounds, and he is 23 years old. Last season, he hit 276 with 16 home runs, 88 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and he had 468 at-bats. With d'Arnaud leaving for the Angels and with Murphy starting the season on the IL for 4 to 6 weeks, Baldwin makes for one of the most intriguing players of this list. Also considering Murphy hit a bit of a wall last season with only 10 home runs and a 193 batting average, which hurt. Trust me, I drafted in my fantasy league last year. So hopefully for fantasy managers out there and for the Braves, this was just a fluke. There are also concerns that Murphy may need some extra days off this season or may just not be the player that he once was. Catching will do that to you. So it presents an argument for Baldwin to be the Braves' everyday catcher in 2025, at least to start, and maybe afford him some significant time behind the dish. I'm not knocking Chadwick Tromp, as he was number 5 behind Negro on my 2022 Braves prospect list. But both Tromp and Murphy will be 30 in the 2025 season, which is like 50 in catcher's years. Baldwin hits for solid average and shows above average power, especially for a backstop. He's been working on his pop time, although he's a one-knee guy, release, his accuracy, all of that to compensate for an average to below average arm, and is already considered to be a very good game manager for the staff. He has handled each step up through the minors well and would probably do the same with this shot at the bigs. If the Braves want to let him develop a little more and improve some things further, or if he struggles to start the year, he could return to Gwinnett once Murphy comes back. But if Murphy struggles, or the injury bug jumps up back on him, or Baldwin gets hot to start the year, look for him to play a vital role for the rest of the Braves' 2025 season. We are expecting big things from number 3 on this list, and that is Nacho Alvarez Jr. He's a shortstop. He's on the 40-man roster. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, and he's 21 years old. Last season in the minors, he hit 284 with 10 homers, 57 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, and only 416 at-bats. That's on the minors. In the majors, he only hit 100, no homers, no RBIs, no stolen bases, but only had 30 at-bats. Alvarez's talent aside for a minute, the need for shortstop in Atlanta is widely known and previously discussed in this list. Not that Arcia's 17 home runs last season wasn't nice, but the 271 OBP was not what the Braves had hoped, with Arcia coming off of a 321 OBP in 2023. I will also have to at least acknowledge Nick Allen's hot spring, hitting 359, and that may affect Nacho's opportunities to start the season. Plus, him starting on the IL is not great either. However, Alvarez's 3 seasons in the minors produced a 451, 395, and 391 OBP. Arcia has never been over 324 in the majors, but he did have an OPB of 417 in the minors in 2018. Nacho Alvarez has a better sense of balls and strikes, walking 66 times each of the last 2 seasons. Arcia has never had more than 43 walks in any pro year. Alvarez made the conversion from third to short, hoping to open up a better path to the majors with Riley at third. And the defense has not faltered. It may actually have improved. He has some tree trunks for legs, which may have helped him improve his power numbers a little bit last season, and he can still steal a base or two when needed. He stole 626 last year. The only knock on Alvarez would be his tendency to hit a large amount of ground balls. The Braves hope with some increased power, he may add a little lift to his swing. When the Braves are fully healthy, Alvarez would be a bottom of the order type guy, but with his ability to get on base, he could set the stage when turning over the lineup and setting up some of those big bats at the top of the order. The Braves are built to get them on, get them over, and get them in. So it wouldn't surprise me if Nacho was given every chance when healthy, especially if Arcia is struggling to get on base. 2 is A.J. Smith-Shawver. He is a starting pitcher. He just got the 5th starter spot coming out of spring training. He is 6'3", 205 pounds, and he's 22 years old. Last year in the minors, he was 3-8 with a 4.85 ERA, a 1.24 WHIP, 108 strikeouts, and 89 innings pitched. In the majors, he only had 1 game. He had 0-0 record, 0-0 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, and 4 strikeouts and 4 1/3 innings pitched. Passing up the chance to be a 2-sport athlete, the former high school teammate of Bobby Witt Jr. signed for $1 million with the Braves in 2021. 2023 saw him quickly fly all the way from high A to the majors, one short stay after the other, going 1-0 with a 4.26 ERA and 6 games for the big club that season. 2024, AJ made his first big league start of the year in Chicago on May 23rd, going 4 1/3 scoreless innings and striking out 4 before heading to the injured list on May 24th with a strained oblique. At the time, Atlanta felt he was the highest pitching prospect in their system, and they were attempting to manage his workload before the injury. AJ secured the 5th starter spot out of spring training this year with the trade of Ian Anderson to the Angels. AJ's top 3 pitches are all above average: the fastball in the mid to upper 90s, his solid slider, and his deceptive changeup. They complement each other all very well and helped AJ strike out 108 batters and only 89 minor league innings pitched last season. He has added a curveball that has played well off his other pitches, but could still use a little work as he reintroduces it back into his arsenal. With Strider being out for the beginning of the year, it should open an opportunity for AJ to show what he can do without the worries of making the big club. I know, a lot of you thought AJ should have been number 1 on this list, but here we are at number 1. Good old Caminetti, starting pitcher, single A, might get moved up soon, but single A, 6'2", 195 pounds, and he's 18 years old. Last season, he was 0-1 with a 3.0 ERA, a 1.0 WHIP, and then 4 strikeouts and only 3 innings pitched. And we hope he does get moved up soon so we can see him in Columbus. Many say the Braves got a steal at 24 with Caminetti, a highly regarded two-way player who is solely focused on pitching now. He's young, just turned 18, so he's still a few seasons out. But the raw talent is there. He has good size, standing 6'2" and already weighing 195 pounds. A few seasons in the weight room will help make him more of a force on the mound. He features a mid to upper 90s fastball with solid command and a bit of a rise. And his main secondary pitch is his changeup, which complements that above average fastball very well. He has, let's say, a 3A and 3B pitch, which is a curveball and a slider, both which tend to get a little loose. Same, Cam. Same. Whichever pitch seems to shake out as better in 2025 should probably be the one he sticks with in the future. Personally, I think the slider would play better for him, going to that changeup a little more now, but the curveball wouldn't be a bad option either with his riding fastball. Big lefties with good heat are always a premium, and at 18, Caminetti has a solid base to build on. With any hope, he can put together some memorable seasons on the mound like his cousin Ken did with the bat in the majors. Like I said, I wouldn't expect him to reach the bigs for a few years, maybe 2028, with a September call-up in 2027, possibly if he's really humming. So don't be surprised if we see him at the top of this list for a few years to come. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with the list or not. Do you think Drake should have been higher? Do you think AJ should have been higher? Do you think someone else should have been on this list that wasn't on there? Do you personally think that Drew Hackenberg's dad should have been one of the fathers in Twins? Let me know, because I really do. I will hopefully get you guys some updates on some of these kids that are going to be moved up into double A or at double A, get you some video of them, get you some pictures of them, get you some information on them, and hopefully have a good time at the ball game in Columbus this year. I won't be at all the ball games, but I'll be at some of them. So I might see some of you guys there if you're going to them. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you want up here, you can like the video down here also. If you want, you can subscribe right over here and catch our next videos that'll be coming up. And right over here, you can watch a video we done already did. Thank you guys for watching. So does the Hackenberg talent come from the mom or the dad? I don't. It'd be cool if it was the mom.